made it through the last video and we made it through the last week. The car is running smooth as any of our projects ever have, and that's the exciting part. Right now I went to AutoZone to buy hood struts, windshield wipers, and high beams, and windshield fluid. These are things I never ever get far enough. We just kind of wing it. At this point, this is actually a car. So our goal is not just to take this car to SEMA, but also the RX-8. This car will be in Hoonigan's booth, as it should be. The RX-8, it just needs to make it.
We need something reliable to drive us around SEMA, you know? So just when this thing breaks down, or honestly, this is actually dangerous because both of them could break down.
Plan of attack is this. We'll get the rest of the body on this car, as well as actually tuning this thing for the new turbo and wastegate and all this. None of this is tuned at all. So just like when we snuck into LS Fest, this is also going to be done on the fly, but we're going to be adding tons of heat shielding all around this turbo. It doesn't have the opportunity to melt it like it did before, but it has the opportunity just to get everything too warm.
Fucked up those holes right here. And we got the Valvoline, man.
Any question who I'm repping? I walked in there, I feel like I'm a Valvoline rep.
Badass.
That's right, we're stocked. These are stuff that we didn't have in the shop because we've used all of it, but proof I support those who support me.
We have to pull the front end out. We have our amazing Dodge. We're gonna hook up to. I don't have her e-brake, so I'm gonna have to just reverse, and hopefully somebody could say, oh, stop or whatever, you know, and I'll be able to stop. It's not too much that needs to get pulled out. Everyone thought it was a big deal. The frame rail is good. It's just this small stuff, which you could kind of move by hand. If we just put a hook on it and pull it out, we'll be fine. So I got brakes, since I don't have an e-brake. So I got brand new front brakes and rear brakes. I also got this, since Rob has a reliable car that he could start daily driving and stuff now. He's one for the Corvette and then one for the RX-8. There's these radio transmitter things so we could play songs. Happy SEMA-versary.
Aww.
So you could play your lo-fi beats to tune to.
That is perfect. I was just putting this on the list for Santa, and we've got one hell of a drive ahead of us.
This is our 3-year anniversary.
Oh, do you get Bluetooth for your 3-year? Is that what the, like, Diamond for 10, Bluetooth for 3?
Last year it was a dick, so.
Oh, you're getting that this year too?
Truck is heavier than the RX-8, and this is kind of where it got hit. So we're just gonna try to pull it out, try to get it to look like that side, because that side's perfectly fine. Once we pull this guy out, it should be actually a fairly easy process. I'm just gonna turn it on, throw it in reverse, and then try to yank it back.
That's doing stuff. Yeah, keep going. Right, stop. I think that might be where you want to stop, but I double check.
This fender is hilariously gray, and I wrapped it last year. So it is vinyl wrapped, hidden underneath all this, but I did put the Z06 sticker on there because 405 horsepower is just kind of a funny thing to say nowadays for this car. GM, the one thing that they did really weird is these are all screws. This is such an odd thing. It's not bolts. Like you can't commit fully. It's not even self-tapping. It's like, hey, we're gonna put those little cheap metal little flange things that you clip over the plastic. It's just a mess. So I'm leaving them all loose so we can just fit it to the right spot once we've got the hood on and the front bumper on. But I'm trying to align it with the headlight. Even that can't be trusted on this car, but we'll see. We'll get it all together, and then once it's all on, then tighten it all down after we give up trying to align it. Chris got all of these all cleaned up, and so the fender and the front bumper look amazing. Well, as amazing as a stock Corvette can, which I actually do have some love for this thing. We'll get the bumper kind of set there for a second. We'll actually mount the hood because I want to make sure the hood lines up with everything else here. This part is just these plastic things, so you can't really adjust it from there, but everything else, it's gonna take a little bit of finagling, but we should be good. I have the car currently sitting, and just like we did before, I just tested this. So the car's on, and it stays at 120 milliamps until it drops to 0.6 or 0.06, 60 milliamps. So I'm just testing that one last time because everything that's hidden inside of here, I want to make sure it's not like shorting or doing anything like that or interfering the car's operation as a car. Be careful for all the other, $100,000 of engines up there and the Diablo, but one massive hood. I don't know if anybody else is like me, where like as a kid, your dad or uncles were all like, fiberglass, you can like dent it. I don't know. I think it's like a rite of passage for American kids is that they would always show a Corvette and that it's not made out of aluminum or steel, and they'd always like beat the shit out of the car and it would pop right back out. Thankfully, this fiberglass hood is pretty light. We got the new hood struts as you saw earlier, and I feel pretty good about it. There we go. Finally, I have 2 shocks.
I've never seen this thing work. It looks sick.
I know. I actually love it. I'm not gonna lie. We'll just set it down. We have to put another bolt in here. But yeah, with 2 shocks now, it actually can sit up like this and just, again, we're not messing with this car. Funny enough, these are actually all M8 bolts. This car is one of the weirdest cars to like all fit together, but at least this is much closer than it used to be. Which is right there. That's the first fitment, and it's pinching the bumper, and it's sitting way up here. So we'll have to move this fender. See, here's the problem. We have to move this fender in, but it'll hit the headlight, so we have to move the headlight in as well, but it causes us some problem. This side right here has always been a weird issue on this hood specifically, and we'll replace this hood soon enough. We'll make sure we don't have this pinching. It's gonna be tough. We'll do our best.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. It's like somebody knows what the fuck they're doing. Jesus Christ. I'm just gonna get a little, it's not tight in or anything like that, but just kind of see it. Where are we standing? Jeez. Actually pretty damn close. I mean, it's the same on both sides at least. I don't know why. Maybe my hood is also built. Because you push both sides down. Oh, no, I know what it is. This needs to go down. It's just pushed up.
What I just did is bent this piece back a little bit more, so that way this center area comes forward a little bit more. Can you gently close the hood?
I can aggressively close the hood.
Yeah, that could be done too. Okay, that's really as far as it needs to go. So my goal was to get this area to come out more, so that way it follows the line of the hood with that nice consistency. So you see that once the screw goes in there, that's because this right here was hitting and it hooks in just like that. Here at Dahm Racing, we employ only the most professional, thorough, proper techniques here at the shop.
Not walking. I'm about to hit the crip walk right now.
You're representing both sides right now.
I figured out why my hood was bowed.
Oh yeah?
It's because the middle part used to go down, so because it's bowed unevenly. That's why I'm crip walking on it.
Contrary to what everybody else in the shop believes, this is actually a lot of work, and it was going to take a lot of time because, yeah, it's just pushing these 5, 6 little push pins in, but it has to sit in the right spot. And so what you see me doing right now is having to do all the work underneath it to get that right spot. And you can see I got it closer in the middle, and unfortunately, if this hood just wasn't bowed over on this side, yeah, I think I basically got it. I just don't want the two hitting. And that's
better.
Yeah, but see like how the hood's sticking up here, down here. This is up here, down here. Like this is what you would spend a lot of time. If you had a good hood, you'd spend a lot of time perfecting just that. One of the things that Corvette or GM did that is really cool, but also really weird until you get used to it, is they have like a clamshell thing where inside of this piece is a piece of metal, and inside of this piece is a piece of metal with 2 studs built into it. They're riveted into that. And what's nice is you put them in like this, and then you put the bolts in from the front bumper. They're very difficult to reach, especially with aftermarket oil coolers right there. But with a little bit of struggling, that lines all of that up quite nicely. The problem. This side, that piece I thought was trash, and I don't throw anything out. I'm a hoarder, but I saw a piece of aluminum with 2 bolts in it. I was like, okay, well, we got a spare. I threw it out. So we're at a bit of a problem because we cannot reach these. So what I did is I used my little Tang Tools little riv nut thing. And this is actually kind of one of my favorite desperate moments, is that I'm doing this into this plastic, but that's only half of the solution. So we'll pop that in there and we'll pull this back off. And that still doesn't help us. That's not the finished product. It only gets us halfway because we still can't get a bolt up in there. So what we're doing is taking a bolt and putting it up behind that riv nut looking thing and threading it in from the backside. Now, if you're gonna do something like this, I would strongly recommend using some sort of like thread locker, because when you go to loosen this whole setup, it will loosen this side and you won't get the whole bolt structure off. This will save us a lot of headache in a couple minutes. I'm going up through the backside of the riv nut. So now I've got that out like that, and between that one right there, like that. There we go. So at least now all we're doing is hunting down M6 nuts instead of trying to get bolts and trying to get the angles and everything. We can just kind of hit them from a very rough angle, and everything will kind of hold itself together. I don't even actually have to put nuts on there. The rest of it will hold itself together. I just didn't want these two not aligned.
It's looking better.
Close. So it's looking like a car. I don't know how I feel about this. This RX-8 has just been like a, oh cool, whatever, but now it's like, oh, you could drive this thing around and it looks like a car and you're almost there. It's weird. There's something for me. This is mine, my physical possession, and I could touch it and I could drive it. This is gonna be dangerous because there's gonna be a 3-rotor soon. So if you guys support the RX-8 more, Rob will be inclined to buy me a short shaft 3-rotor to get this thing going. So if you guys just keep on showing love and support to the RX-8, Rob's gonna be pressured into having me do some good stuff over here.
Oh, hey! Before I show you what I'm about to show you, I just want to say that this is Isaiah appreciation moment, because look at this. Just look at that smoothness that he did with the first version of this thing long ago, and just look at how clean all of this is. I'm so fucking happy with this. You guys do not understand. But we can't be seeing that from the very front of the car, because you know what? That says something wrong with the way our air flows. And so what you see here is air going straight past. The only chance we have is these, which aren't even meant for this. I just have it all opened up in there. The original car actually does do this. It has this area right here, and then it does have the air filter going up like that. So that this is by design. But what I'm gonna do is put a piece of metal right along this, right to where the scratches right here are, just to hook that little bit of air that's coming in at this angle to go up into here. Now it'll definitely go through and around the intercooler. That's not my problem. This car runs really cold there, but I just want to get air flowing past the radiator because I don't want it to always force the fans to be on at all times, which is kind of the nature of this car's story, because air is passing underneath it, air is passing over it, but it doesn't go through it. So that's what I'll do. I'll make this little scrap piece right here, and watch just how quickly, if you guys see it from right here, looking down the slipstream, as soon as I put this in place, you see it hooking that air between here and here, which is plenty to go up there. 86. This is a monumental moment for us because this is the first time that we're making this car a passenger vehicle, a vehicle capable of driving long distances and not having to explain every little creak, crack, fire. None of those things should be happening. So now, with all of this done, it is finally time to drop this, get it out of the shop. We can do some of the flex fuel tuning on the road. That's not a big deal. Until then, it's time to work on the RX-8. Here comes the moment where we need to make this move. You can see I've got security system, front lights all working.
This is the replacement to my coolant tank, because apparently nobody keeps this at all. It's not available. I called like 3 different places, not available, not available. So I think the plastic on my actual pressure cap on the OEM one ended up just not holding pressure and it's been kind of spewing out. So this thing will be able to do what I needed to do, and I'm just going to convert these lines to push lock, because that's kind of all we had. I don't have any barb stuff. So it's wet because I'm just kind of, but it looks cute.
Oh, I just got a message from Gio. Gio, you are a saint. I just didn't see it in time. Hey, you want to borrow my coolant pressure tank?
No.
Yeah. Gio, thank you.
Thank you, Gio. I appreciate the effort.
Yeah, we're getting a little aggressive with our craziness because we know that this thing's so reliable. It's working so well that we really want to take the RX-8. That is our goal, and so we're just being very careful with that car. That said, I just had to move this car, and I used power steering for the first time. Didn't even notice it. And you know what? When something's working really good, you don't notice it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little putt around here just to show you guys. It drives like a normal car. I still have to tune it a little bit. You know, turbo's different and all that, but it's not too far off. I haven't gotten into boost yet, but it's pretty stable. It's a little rich. It's a little rich, but power steering's fine. I've got plenty of throttle right at the beginning. Like the car doesn't get close to choking like it did before, so even the longer gearing is fine. The clutch, now that we have the correct hydraulic bearing for that, is perfect. So everything that I am doing with the car feels perfect. So watch how easy this is. I'm not even trying. Look at this. Steering is so perfect, so perfect. I still have to work on that throttle a little bit, but other than that, oh my God, I cannot wait to take her. I'm in 3rd gear. I'm gonna go do 2 little pulls around, you know, the usual that you see from this channel, but it's not the usual. So letting her warm up again, final system check, everything's looking really good. Little car. Everything's smooth. She's got more boost. That was 6 psi, 6 psi, and she's got a little bit more air. Right as soon as I got into about 6,000 RPM, the car's got way more efficiency. So she's got higher amounts of air getting forced into the engine. So we're looking good. This thing's looking really good. We're up to temp. Let's pop the hood and see if there's anything wrong for our last little thing. But I mean, it's pretty solid. It's uncomfortably solid. I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, look at, I've even got an air filter.
Big boy moves.
Yeah, tons of heat shielding, air filter. Everything's all buttoned up thanks to Isaiah. This is pretty impressive. Power steering's fun as shit to drive it in. Everything's just smooth. Fans come on as they're supposed to.
Time to hit the road.
Yeah. We get the baby car running, and we are gone.
The last touch, you guys ready? Woo! Un más. And then look at this right here. Look.
Wow.
Yes, sir. If I'm taking bets, the RX-8's going down first. We're gonna leave it on the side of the road. we'll spend another $2,000 to get another one, but we're here for this moment.
She is on the ground.
All things considered, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, for this being the other project car for this, I'm very impressed with how it turned out. We have done it. Both cars ready to go. Absolute insanity. This one was, I think, Isaiah worse off because he had done such a good job on the Rotary Vet. So it's a good thing to say that. But are we crazy? I think we are.
So this is just what the RXA has brought us: rotary, reliability, and this is it right here.
Yeah, both. 2 cars.
Not going anywhere.
Tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev. Project car in.
Oh, my car?
Yeah, your videographer's car. Guys, you're not seeing this yet. You're not seeing this yet.
Here, Mr. Driving. I got a front end about to act up. I got 0.4 miles on this engine, freshly rebuilt, refreshing, woo woo. So we'll see what we get out of this thing. Everything's looking bitchin' so far. So
look at this. We have 2 of the lowest cars in our lineup ready for action. That's your favorite phrase.
ready for action.
Yep. We're gonna go ahead and hide and drive all the way to Vegas. Things are all working solid.
Yeah, I have this one issue, but it's not a big issue. Just I think it's because I have some vacuum lines kinked up or something, or I don't know exactly. But just when I take off, it kind of like bogged. But after that, it's fine. So
yeah, mine, I've got a little bit of a tinny sound, like the exhaust is rattling in the very back. We'll install a resonator or something there because 2 rotors.
Somebody wants to run GM titanium.
That's right. That's right. Mid pipe, resonator mid pipe. Okay, well we're just gonna go. Crying right now, it's probably the exhaust fumes, but you know, it was so crazy. That was so uneventful that our biggest issues were that there's something inside of each of our doors rattling. That was it. That was like, oh wow, this is, and my shift knob rattles in 4th and 5th gear. That said, the car is amazing, completely smooth. We even just went and tortured them. We went straight up what's like the Grapevine, but it's also, if you guys ever go near Victorville, you just have to climb up to 4,000 feet and there's no stopping. I lugged this one a little bit on accident. I was in too high of a gear. I was like at 3,000 RPM. She performed solid. You see temps rise on the oil, and then as soon as you get back down. So I made a mistake. And E85 is only in a city back one, so I'm gonna mix some 91 in and then go back to E85 in Vegas. I have been spoiled in the past pre-mixing with our ethanol. This time we're just gonna do it this way. This is 8 ounces, so we'll go for about 4, maybe 6 gallons. And you see I'm using just generic shit right now.
Oh, what's the compression hot? Compression testing why it's hot. This and that, left and right. Oh, RXA motor is so bad. Well, we just drove all the way uphill, freshly warm. Check this out. Rotary reliability, baby. we are here. We're here in Vegas. It looks beautiful. It's what's it called? 4 o'clock in the morning. Somehow I made it. I've been up since 9 a.m. yesterday. Cars are fine. His car's fine. My car's fine. I lost a headlight bulb or ballast. Who cares? But everything is just fine and dandy. It feels weird.
So far, so good. Oh, I'm out of coolant. That explains a lot.
Overheating?
Low on coolant. No, I wasn't overheating. She's getting hot because I'm lugging it. So the problem is I have two modes. I either have lugging it really low, but it gets great gas mileage, but then it starts lugging as soon as you go up any sort of hill, tons of boost, low RPM. We're talking 2,000 RPM, not good. On the other hand is go higher RPM where the Rotaries love to be, but the exhaust is so like loud and tinny.
The other side cracked too.
So I hit a bump and the car did some really weird stuff. We just cracked both motor mounts. The good news is that the engine is connected to the transmission, through the torque tube, the bazooka thing. They're together. So drivetrain wise, I felt a little bit of hesitation kind of after Baker. There's a huge bump in the middle of the road and it just and it got really rough after that. So engine mounts are gone. But other than that, it was completely smooth. Everything was smooth. I didn't even have a chance to properly tune it.